大家好，欢迎收听唱歌学中文。Hi everybody, welcome to Sing and Learn Chinese. Today we're going over the song 可惜没如果 by 林俊杰. So the English title of the song is If Only, and the artist is JJ Lin. He's one of the very well-known Chinese language singers in Asia. And the title though, even though the English title is If Only, 可惜没如果 actually literally translates into It's a pity that there are no ifs.That's what that means. And why? Because, as you shall see, this song is a song about regret. So we don't know the backstory. You can make it up because this is a standalone song. But it's something to do with somebody who has lost somebody important to him because of his own actions. Or so he says in the lyrics. You be the judge. All right, let's look at the first line. 假如把犯得起的错. So 假如 means if. 把 to take犯得起的错. So 错 is the noun or the object here in the sentence or phrase. And then 犯得起的 means able to make. And then in this case though, it's mistakes. Like the verb 犯 goes with 错. 犯错 is to make a mistake. So 犯得起的错 means a mistake that can be made. Okay, so if we were to take, so this is like a hypothetical. If we were to take mistakes that can be made,And then 能错的都错过. So 能错的错 means wrong and 能 is able to. So 能错的 means things that can be a mistake. And then here we have 错过, but this actually means to miss or to pass. So like if you missed the opportunity to do something, then you would say 我错过机会. I have missed the opportunity. So basically he's saying, hypothetically, what if we could skip all of our mistakes? Everything that could potentially be a mistake, we missed them all. In other words, what if we didn't have to make mistakes? And then we have 应该还来得及去悔过. 应该 means it should be or it should. 还来得及, 来得及 means there's still time. 还 is still and then 来得及 is still time. So like if you're racing for the train,And somebody's like, oh, 来得及,你不用那么赶. It's like, don't hurry so much. There's still time. You'll make it. The train's not going to leave without you kind of thing. You still have time. So 来得及 means you still have time. And then 去 to go and 悔过 is to regret or to repent. So there should still be time to repent. And then 假如没把一切说破. So 假如 is again if, like a hypothetical. 没 means did not, short for 没有. And then 把 is to take something. And then 一切 means all stuff, all the things, everything. 说破 is to speak. But 破 actually means break. So 说破 is like kind of like when you've been hiding something and not talking about it for a long time. And then one day you just lay your cards out on the table and you break the vase or what's the word? You talk about the elephant in the room, that kind of feeling. So 假如没把一切说破. If let's say hypothetically that somebody, probably me, most likely the narrator is talking from the first person, as you will see later. So let's say that I didn't expose everything, that I didn't say everything, lay all my cards on the table and say things that probably shouldn't have been said. Okay, then we have 那一场小风波. So 那一场, that one, 一场 is a classifier or a counter word, measure word for incidents in this case. So it's an abstract counter word. 小 means little, and then 风波 is disturbance or conflict. So he's clearly referring to some conflict that he had with a person who is now gone from his life. Like that incident that happened between us, 那一场小风波. And he calls it a little disturbance. So he's like, it could have been a little disturbance if all of these hypotheticals that we just talked about were in place. Then 将一笑带过. 将 is to will, yeah, to be. 一笑带过 means it's a common four-word idiom that means you just let things go. 一笑 means with one smile. 带过 is let it pass. So just smile and let it go. If we were to do that. And then 在感情面前. So 在 is in, at, on. 感情 is emotions, or in this case, relationships. 面前 is before, in front of. So in front of, when it comes to relationships, 讲什么自我. What talk 讲 is to talk, and then 什么 is what, and then 自我 is self. In other words, when it comes to relationships, you can't talk just about yourself. There's no selfishness. You can't be selfish. 讲什么 is kind of like, what are you talking about? That kind of attitude. And then 自我 is self or selfish. Well, it's not really selfish, but from the context, you can say that the narrator of the song is coming to the realization or has come to the realization and is now saying, when it comes to relationships, one cannot be selfish. And then 要得过且过才好过. So 得過且過 is another idiom that just means go with the flow, let things slide, don't pay too much attention to things, don't be too perfectionistic. And then 才好過 means then you will be able to go through life more easily. 好 means good, and then 过 is to pass through. So usually when you're talking about 过, in this context, you're talking about going through life. So if you have more of a go with the flow attitude, life will be easier. 全, and then we come to the chorus. 全都怪我. So everything blame me. So 怪 is to blame, 我 is me, 全 is everything, 都 is kind of like all as well. So all of it is my fault. Just blame me is what he's saying. 不该沉默时沉默. So 不该 means shouldn't, and then 沉默 is silent, 时 is the time when, and then 沉默 again is silent. So 不该沉默时沉默 means I was silent at a time when I should not have been silent. Then the next line is 该勇敢时软弱. 该 means should, 勇敢 is be brave, be courageous, 时 is a time when, and then 软弱 is weak. So when I should have been courageous, at the time when I should have been courageous, I was weak. And then the I is understood. And then 如果不是我, if it wasn't for me. 如果 means if, 不是 not, and then 我 is me. If it wasn't for me. So he's basically taking responsibility for whatever happened to this relationship that blew it up. And then 误会自己洒脱让我们难过. So 误会 means misunderstood. 自己 is self. 洒脱 is carefree, indifferent. So basically he's saying, I mistakenly thought that I was a carefree person. 让我们 let us 难过 be sad or be unhappy. So because of my misunderstanding of myself, I made us both unhappy. Then 可当初的你和现在的我假如重来过. This is interesting. So 可 is short for 可是, which means but or however. 当初的你is you, and then 当初 is at the beginning, at the time. So the you from the past, and then 和 means with or and. 现在 means now, and then 我 is me. So 现在的我, the me from today. So, but if you from the past and me from today, 假如重来过. 假如 is hypothetically, what if? 重来 means to start over. 过 and then 重来过. So 可当初的你和现在的我假如重来过. But if you from the past and me from the present could start over again. And then ... 倘若那天, 倘若 is another way of saying if, 那天 that day. So he's just the narrator is referring to a specific day. Obviously this is like something happened on that day that leads him into this regretful situation now. Okay, and then 把该说的话好好说. 把 is to take something, and then 该说的话. 话 is, in this case, it's talking about speech or words, and then 该说的 means should be said. The words that should have been said. 好好说 means to say it properly, to say it well. 好好. Yeah. That's probably the best English translation. So if that day I had said what needed to be said, I should have said things well, properly. So from reading between the lines, you can kind of get the sense that this narrator probably said something he shouldn't have said, and probably said it in a way that he shouldn't have said it. Or at least that's what he's saying. Okay. 该体谅的不执着. So, 执着, sorry. 该体谅的. 体谅 is like to understand, to be empathetic and compassionate kind of thing. 该 is should. And then 不执着 is not stubborn. So instead of being stubborn, I should have been understanding. And then 如果那天我不受情绪挑拨. So 如果 if 那天 that day I 不受情绪 did not get affected by my emotions being agitated. So If only that day I hadn't allowed myself to be affected by my agitated emotions. 你会怎么做? You will 怎么 how 做 do. In other words, what would you have done? So, the plot thickens. All right. 那么多如果那么多 means so many. 如果 is if. So there are so many ifs. 可能如果我可能 is maybe 如果 if I. Maybe if I and then ... 可惜没如果 and then he just kind of stops himself. And here's the title of the song. 可惜 means unfortunately, what a pity. 没 means there isn't any. 没有如果 if. Unfortunately, there are no ifs. There are no ifs in life. Things are or they're not. And that's it. And then 只剩下结果. 只 means only. 剩下 is remain, left behind. 结果 is result. So there's a little bit of wordplay going on. 如果结果 it's the same 果, but 如果 is if, 结果 is result. So unfortunately, there are no ifs. The only thing that's left is the result or the consequence of my actions, basically. Then we have 如果早点了解那率性的你如果 if 早一点means earlier 了解 is to understand 那 is that and then 率性 is impulsive willful 的你 you. So if only I had understood earlier you the impulsive straightforward willful you. So in other words, if only I had understood you better from an earlier on. And then 或者晚一点遇上成熟的我 So 或者 or 晚一点 means later 遇上 to meet 成熟 means mature 的我 So or if you had met me later when I was more mature. And then 不过 is but 可惜没如果 Unfortunately there are no ifs 没有你和我 There is no you and me anymore basically. And that's it. Wow, that was kind of a depressing song. But you know, music is supposed to cover the gamut of human emotions, and sometimes we all experience regret. So if you're interested in hearing this song, you can look it up anywhere they play music. It's called 可惜没如果 JJ Lin. And hopefully you learned some interesting and helpful words, some idioms as well. If you have any song requests, you can email me and perhaps you'll see your song show up one of these weeks for these lyric breakdowns. And until we sing again, 再见.